Okay, let's just dive right into it.
Mm-hmm.
This is my first interview. Thank you so much for doing this with me and offering to do an interview with you. I'm a bit tensed up and I'm really excited to do this. And I'm excited to learn more about you today and to talk about life with you and everything that sparks our interest. Let's just be in the flow and see what will come up during this conversation.
Great. Do you want to give a quick introduction to what you started doing recently, what you are doing, and then give an introduction to me as your guest so that people have an overview of who we are?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just here. I'm doing this podcast project and interview project because I am curious to learn more about spirituality and creativity and um, just inspiring people in general because I'm on my own journey learning about life and I consider myself a very spiritual person, always looking for answers and always looking for or insights and always looking for more inspiration to live the most fulfilling life I can. And this is also what sparked me doing this series, which will hopefully be a series interviewing several people, wonderful people like you. And yeah, now we are here today. You are Kasimir. I'm just gonna do my introduction of you. And you are my friend and a wonderful, beautiful, magical being. And you are currently in Thailand. You've been traveling the world and are currently training to be a diving instructor, which I find really interesting and inspiring. You also are a psychic medium and you perceive the world quite differently than a lot of people, which is also something that we're going to dive into today. And this is also what you do for work, and you help people with this, which I find really interesting and inspiring and beautiful. And I'm also curious about what you have to say about this and what it kind of means for the world.
Thank you.
Yes.
Beautiful
Is
introduction.
there is is there anything you would like to add about yourself?
That's quite good. Yeah. Except maybe free dive instructor. The big difference between dive and free dive, but it doesn't matter.
Freedive is actually diving without
The
without.
tanks, yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that is quite different. I only tried it with the tank so far. I mean, I can hold
I've
my.
never tried.
I've been with you and Melissa, your partner. We've been in the ocean together already, and you've been
Hmm.
diving, and you could just hold your breath forever. And I was like, "Ooh,
Really?
yeah, I can
Wow,
do this."
that's beautiful. I guess that was even before we did the free diving. Yeah. But anyways, Melissa taught me a little bit her diving. So she taught me how to equalize and all that because she did it basically all her life. Yeah,
Hmm.
but let's dive into the more spiritual topics. Diving is quite spiritual, but we will touch on this later. I was thinking to write some blog on that as well. So it's
Mm.
really beautiful, like holistic diving and how all this comes back to oneness and spirituality and integration and healing and space and holding space and how you're
That's
not
really
even safe
beautiful.
in the water and under the salt water because I thought that was the solution to finally have peace from people's lives. No, I'm joking. Actually, it's okay. I can be down there if somebody has trauma up there, I'll still feel it. And sometimes I come up and I have to do energy work on them.
You have to do energy work while diving?
Yeah, I did it on co-students. Yeah, if there's severe trauma and somebody else, I take care of it because I have so much space. The trauma comes in, and when you dive, you want to actually be with the dive. You don't want to have to do energy work on your bodies, you know. And so I learned that, and I'm getting better at it. But it's also beautiful to say that we are all connected, and to talk to the people that have that going on, and to offer them space or therapy or things, you know, like it's usually not happening just with random people. Normal people don't bother you that much. If there's another medium that hasn't done some integration that happens, you know, then it can be quite strong. Anyways.
Okay, so yeah, this is also something I wanted to ask you more about. It seems like you perceive quite a lot of energies in your just everyday life, and it's quite different than maybe what most people perceive in the world. And I'm sure that also comes with a few challenges. But first, maybe can you explain a bit about how you see the world, if that makes sense? You perceive people's feelings very intensely, and yeah, let me know.
I kind of blend with a lot of people. Let me try to explain this. I can invite people into my perspective if people are open enough and they can feel a little bit how it feels to walk in my shoes and be in my field. I don't perceive as much separation as most people perceive. So I'm much more aware that I'm part of everything and everything influences me and I influence everything. So it's not like this thing like taking everything as part of yourself is my everyday reality from which I can, I don't want to say escape occasionally and be just regular and I do a lot of sports or other things, you know, or really push energy out, and there's a purpose and a reason for it, you know, where people say just close your chakras or do this or do that. I'm able to do that, but it feels spiritually so wrong, you know, that I just don't want to do that. I prefer to stay connected and just choose people that are a real match, because it's a compass. You know, it's like telling me where to go in life, with whom to interact, with whom not to interact, or to set clear boundaries and be like, sorry, if you don't integrate X, Y, and Z, I can help you to integrate them, etc. I cannot hang out with you. You know, I would rather hang out with this and this person, or this event is not for me because this and this and this is happening. Of course, my psychic insights help me with that. But maybe a little bit cryptic for most people to understand. So basically, I become everything that surrounds me. So when I'm like surrounded with people that have very short attention span or that have been partying the next time, my mind might completely black out. My mind doesn't work. And then it's really hard to push that energy out and really claim my own ground, which I can do. But actually, if you think of that, it's really helpful because you're showing them the state they're actually in that moment that they are suppressing and the pain they carry in a very, very upfront way.
So
you know?
let me just clarify that. So first you said that you don't like closing yourself off and kind of closing your chakras and protecting yourself, but you do like to stay open. But it does mean that you sometimes can't go to certain places because you pick up on everything.
Oh, I can.
But it would be painful.
We eat energy. We eat food, we drink water, we inhale air. And when you eat at a restaurant, physically, you eat as much energy and share energy as you eat food. And so to go to a restaurant with bad vibes, even if they have the best food, I wouldn't go there. I would choose a restaurant with a little bit less good food, or would take it to go, you know, because the vibes affect the food and everything. So that's what I'm kind of like. And same goes for places or thought patterns, especially if people have fragmentation. It can be quite strong and hard. But the more beautiful it gets when you actually voice it. So it's like, it's a huge gift It's like you're not okay until everybody is really okay. You cannot enter a room without really feeling what's going on with a person. On the rare occasion, someday, here and there, if you did a lot of sports, you're very euphoric, and you have all this biophysical thing going on with spiritual consciousness, or you have a really, really... Another thing that really helps is a really fixed focus. If you're like really almost like a sun ray or a laser beam, hold your focus on one thing. But actually, the gift of oneness and the sensitivity and the space holding ability that I have is a 360-degree awareness. So in this apartment, I can't feel good if my neighbor is hungover upstairs. I can't feel good if my neighbor is angry or has fragmented aspects. They come to me, they talk to me, thought forms. I know their life story. I know these things. I feel them in my own body. I perceive them. I start feeling as if I were them and walk in their shoes. It's almost like a psychedelic trip for many people. And it's just my everyday life. And it can be really beautiful if I'm around really beautiful people. It's just getting better and better and better. And so it's like a compass. Don't hang out with those people unless they want to do emotional work. And then it's a great tool of sensitivity to really know what's going on and to show them, look, actually, I'm shivering because there's this aspect in you that is actually really scared. Or look really angry right now. And then you can step 2 meters away and you look less angry and you go closer to them, or it's the left body side, the right body side. You can do so much energy work just showing the intelligence of your own body. But this is really advanced energy work and channeling and mediumship work that most people every day life like, this is just so crazy and out of hand. I don't ever want to touch this, but actually we're all stepping and moving towards oneness right now. And scientifically it's already proven that we interbreathe, energy fields are connected, emotions, everything. Even scientists or psychologists say, like, you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. And that's not only on a psychological basis or intellectual basis. So it can be really good. It can also be really challenging because not everybody is open to learn about their emotions. And there's a lot of subconscious stuff. We are 80% subconscious, 20 conscious, or 70 subconscious and 30 conscious. And the more you become emotionally aware and you integrate, and more spiritual you become, spiritual, you know of the stuff, but there's always stuff you don't know about. And if you confront people, sometimes that can be quite of a challenge. But I guess I'm loving my life. So
I'm
I even
curious.
came back to this, They told me already, I had a quite mystical experience when I was 16, and instead of going
What? I
and not
didn't. I
returning to
didn't
Earth
hear
anymore,
the beginning of the sentence.
I had a quite mystical experience when I was 16, and I came back to Earth. Basically, I died, and I came back. They say if you come back, your abilities will be through the roof. I was already born sensitive and open and empathic and all that. But after dying and coming back, I was even more cracked open. So they're like, almost nobody might understand you. Like, it's completely new ray of consciousness. But luckily, I found people like you and Maria, that do understand me at the level that many people haven't dared to touch yet,
Yeah, that's beautiful, finding those people.
Yeah, and being able to work with them and to communicate non-verbally and share emotions, denser emotions that other people wouldn't welcome.
Yeah.
And I'm still thinking to do this project with you and Maria at some point, because when those people meet and those connections happen, it's just special, because then you can record it and show it to other people in a sense that are open for that. No, you're not crazy. Actually, you're feeling the subway, or you're feeling the city, or you're feeling all the depression and all the medication people take, And maybe you should just change environment, and not you specifically, but to that person that is suffering there, and use that sensitivity as an indication who is right for you and who is not right for you,
Yeah.
This is a new compass that we all are learning to navigate. And the more we are, the more we can unite and help and heal each other and exchange our unique perspectives that are also like a little bit common. Like,
Yeah.
very sensitive people. They're like commonalities.
I'm really curious to hear more about maybe future projects, and also maybe if you want to share more about your journey so far, how that came about. But first, let me rewind a bit, and I'm also curious to dive more into the the challenges of being so sensitive, and you touched a little bit on this, that you kind of you learn to communicate more with people, and because you perceive quite a lot about them. And I also experienced this when I was with you, that sometimes you can feel and pick up on things that people don't even know, like you pick up on their thought forms and they're not even aware of it. So how did you learn to deal with that and connect more to people? And you said sometimes you just have to say to not, some people are just not open to it, so you just
Well,
have
I
to stay away from
communicate
that.
with thought forms in that place, or I just avoid people that are like that and surround myself with more open people. It's
Yeah.
actually really good. It's like you get the best match for yourself very quickly, although there might not be as many unicorns right now around. But also, me in my life, sometimes I just want to be a regular guy and do regular physical things and just interact on a regular basis, or let's say on a more, I don't want to call it superficial basis, but more, because all these abilities are deeply human, but what people call normal human interactions. Simple, just like hanging out at a restaurant, just talking about diving or surfing or whatever you love to do, play football, or, running. Or so I have this in my life as well. Like at the workout park in Germany, I would just talk about workouts. Okay, I would always blend in a little consciousness and a little chi and do some chi on people, a little energy work and a little dance. That's just me. But they would be like, there's this guy with his strange beliefs again. But okay, he's really nice. He helped me somehow. So actually, he did something for me without me believing in it. So that's cool. And other
That's
people,
cool.
of course, have a more skeptical attitude. So it depends. It kind of comes out through my being, anyways. I'm not hiding it, but I'm
Yeah.
also functioning in regular life on regular level. But actually, the more I open my soul and the more my soul, like the light burns and shines through my body, and the more I integrate and hear myself, the more stable I am on one hand, and the more insulated in a good way I am in this love and bliss frequency. But on the other hand, I'm also much more open and more sensitive to embody stuff from other people. And there are like so many spiritual like little rules and laws, and being a medium and listening to spirits, you can of course do a lot of things with those information. So for example, like when people are not open and their spirits just bother me, sometimes I'm just like, hey, can you come later? I can talk to the person. And if they don't respect my boundary, I can just clearly insulate them away in an energy field or just ground them. And sometimes it seems to be even an entity that has attached to somebody that was masquerading as their inner children or something, and then I just cleanse them, like just with some energy work. I just remove them. Because actually, this happened during diving. I was like,
So if people don't don't get it and don't understand your boundaries, then you can ground them, and that
yeah,
helps.
yeah. That's very, very loving, very gentle. You always do it in according with the higher self. But basically, you can imagine like some people have entities around, and
Yeah.
when entities talk to you and bother you, you take care of the entities. You don't even touch the person. And then you end up doing energy work on them and helping them, and you just have your peace of mind. It's kind of like the person that enters in the room, and all of a sudden the energy is nicer and nobody knows why. Probably they had the same stuff going on. you know so you just like spray in a little mosquito spray or something, and then the mosquitoes stay away.
Yeah. That's really cool. So
More and all the lemongrass. Yeah.
a lot is happening energetically wherever you are, like kind of energy is flowing all the time.
Yeah, this is just a byproduct of people like you and me. I noticed this when we were at the lake in Germany, in Berlin. You're dropping into some. I was like, Melissa, look at that. You created such a great big space around the lake. I was like, damn, Marie, are you doing some circles or some space holding? Because you should. You have a real gift there. Yeah, well, we are a little extras in sparkles as human beings, if we step into our power. This is what we all have. Some
Yeah.
people say it's extra sensory, extra human. I just call it human abilities.
Human abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really beautiful to discover more and more of these powers that we actually do have. And if you say, I created this beautiful space, that's beautiful for me to hear and it kind of resonates. But then also I'm not completely perceiving what I'm actually doing, and there's so much more to find and to see. I'm
Oh, you always grow. Like, you always perceive more. The more you integrate yourself in your own childhood traumas, and the more you integrate also for the collective, the more space you will have. And in this space, things will arise. And the more you work with what you feel and see, and the more you communicate with all these aspects, and the more you harmonize all these things, usually, it's just all about harmonizing and integrating. So when you come somewhere and you feel like something is not right, type you are, there are different people. Some people just bring in this like energy, and they just buzz up the room, and that's cool too. Some days you might be that person, and some other days you're more into this like feeling and integrating and talking space, So it's also an archetype thing, but it's also a day-to-day thing, and I call it like chemistry. People are like, depending on what people you put together, it gives a whole different picture. So that's a little bit to describe the world I would say we live in. I clearly see energies. I mean, like when they want to be seen, purple, white, whatever color spirits.
Can you say it again? The Skype was kind of cutting, and still your video is kind
maybe
of.
they don't want to be here.
Let's try again.
So yeah, it's not that important. I was just saying that I perceive energies.
Yeah.
Spirits want to be seen, so they appear like really bright light orbs, tiny ones, like tiny specks. And you don't need to see them. You can feel them. Sometimes they touch you. Sometimes they talk to you. I mean, I might be maybe a little bit more sensitive than some people and have a little bit more inner vision, but basically we're all able to do this. That's what I want to say. It's not like only me thing. We can all integrate to that point where actually those things are very natural.
I'm wondering how you said before that you had a very intense experience where you almost died, and
I actually died.
You actually died?
Yes, and I came back. There's this famous woman, Anita Morjani, and she was recently actually on a picture of her. I'm really happy that she's now all like, I don't want to say my favorite spiritual teachers, but let's say the other end of the famous spiritual crowd. And she had a terminal brain cancer.
By the way.
And she had a choice to return to life, and her soul would fix her body in a second, or to go. And she came back, and snoop, everything was just disappearing miraculously. Is the image frozen?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's good.
No, it's working.
It's evening, everybody is using the internet now, and it gets a little bit slower. Poor network connection. Can you still hear me?
Yes. So you were just saying that Teal, which is Teal Swan, was talking about this woman that's.
She was actually on a social media post next to her. She was hanging out with her in California, I guess. They're probably meeting as friends or talking about some common projects. And so that's what I wanted to say. The soul always has the last word. And so the soul decides and the physical body just adapts. If it's in your soul plan, if your soul doesn't really care about Earth so much, you just go, because that's the bigger you. And yeah, my soul didn't want to go. I was like, no, I want to stay here. I want to live a little longer.
And you were like deciding that, or?
I was 16. It just happened. There's a whole interview on my YouTube channel about this, with some like online radio station. But basically, I came back, and it changed my life even more. It's just like, it was so intense. I stopped doing yoga. I was doing a lot of yoga before and breath work and all that. And I needed a few years to digest that experience. Somehow part of me died. I guess part of my ego just got burned. And I guess my stepfather said it right. He said it like, he has forgotten himself. Somehow, it was really weird. I was like a new me, but still me, but kind of different me. It's pretty strange.
So like a whole new personality, or
not
energy.
Quite, but my whole life changed. Like I had to start at zero again. Like somehow before I had things figured out and had idea of who I was, and that experience destroyed everything I thought to know. And although I was already sensitive and stuff, but I was like, whoa, what else is going to happen soon to me? And just out of the blue, and it was so strong. It's like, you are safe nowhere for this. It was a really beautiful experience, don't get me wrong. There's like love everywhere. But to come back into the body, that was really traumatizing. My whole body was shaking, my heart was racing, my heart was stopping, and it was really like, whoa. So the out of body, really beautiful. But the soul jamming back in the body is so much energy, the human body can barely handle it.
Oh yeah, so you had to change your whole life after this too.
Yeah, there was no other way.
Yeah.
I was no longer able to. Well, I always had this sweet, open soul and that dreaming and my own way of manifesting and creating, and all the blueprint was kind of in me. But just this like act of free will to return, although I was, well, they would say, it's okay, you can go. But it's like, no, I want to play some more. I want to stay for love and relationships and stuff. I always like a little adventure. And so, yeah. Well, yeah. That changed quite a bit. Let's say it just makes life a little bit more complicated, but also more beautiful.
Yeah, it seems to be very intense change.
Yeah. I guess you don't really fit in so much anymore, in structures that people think that they are and stuff. Yeah. And you're much more connected to everything in the universe somehow. It's like some fuses are a little burned.
Somewhat?
Some fuses, like an electric circuit, are a little burned.
Yeah. This also reminds me, like, the way to live life now seems also quite different than a lot of people. You seem to be very in the flow, and I think since a few months you have been traveling, and now you are training to become a free diving instructor.
Yes. We just have a few things left. We're almost there. We have been diving the past months, every day. Basically, I ask myself, what do I want to do for a living? Because we saved some money and we travel with the money, and I work when I travel sometimes a little bit, because of my online coaching and my sessions. So there's a little income coming there, which helps with it. But basically, soon we reach a point where we should make some more money again. And that was my idea. It feels really beautiful to organize free dive retreats around the world and to host ecstatic dances, the stream of community, ecstatic dances, breath work, yoga, and to really like live from stuff you really inspired, whereas to just a job that treats you good, where you earn good money or that puts you in a nice position, which we had in Germany, where we could travel, and have some holiday, to really transform our life. And so this is also what I'm helping people with, to transform their life into what they dream of, because it's actually possible. It's just a matter of showing different perspectives, clearing some blockages, because some people, they are really at the source, not only spiritually, which is always the case, but they also have all the money in the world. They just have some blockages and they don't allow themselves to actually use their potential, intellectual, physically, or financial, to create the world and the life they want. So I decided not only to help people with that, but also to even upgrade this own thing for me in my life. So like hang out with the people I really like, and be really open and raw and honest with the people I love, and really go for it, no matter what my friends or family or whoever, or even some part of myself might think, that I'm talking to and integrating. And like, this is what I want right now, and this gives me the most joy. Until I don't enjoy it anymore, I will do that. And this might change anytime, and for now it's freediving and all that other good stuff. And yeah, I'm also a great fan of passive income and all that other stuff that I'm creating with my book that is soon going to be out there. And I'm going to make some online courses about energy work and host them and make them available for little money. But then the quantity does it, So it doesn't only help people, but it also helps me financially to basically be completely independent of any structure and just travel the world as long as I want.
That's really beautiful. And
Yes.
and all of this with creative projects that really bring you joy.
Yes, and that make people healthier and happy. Focus, stretching. A lot of yoga is also done in freediving, and the ocean. The ocean.
Picture was just frozen.
It's very yes. But you hear what I said?
No.
Oh, where did I cut off?
That after what I said, I didn't hear you. You said that it's also helping people?
Yeah, it's helping people to live the life they want and integrate and heal and enjoy their life while they do something they actually enjoy and turn actually their passion into some kind of income, let it be by becoming a freedive instructor or a yoga teacher or a medium, or discover their own gifts and talents, or a painter or whatever. For me, it's quite easy to see what a person is about, what their gifts are, what their blockages are, and then we can really cut through this and work through that really quick with my gifts. And I can also help them transmute pain and stuff, of course, if they're ready and if they want to. Not everybody wants to. Some people just want to stay in their comfort job and keep drinking alcohol and be not really happy, but also not really unhappy, and that's fine too. But lately I've been very interested in all that, because, for example, as a freedive instructor, you can travel the world and work, and you're going to deal with the ocean, sunshine, and your own personal physical growth, spiritual growth, mental growth, which is beautiful, And yeah, I want to combine this with everything I already do. And
yeah, it is really beautiful, and it really inspires me, that the way you live your life.
Thank you.
And you said you help other people find their path and what they want to do. So is this something you do in coaching people, and you do energy work with them, or?
Well, I did a lot of energy work prior to this point, and now I do more life coaching and coaching, because if you change a person's thought pattern, or you help them to change their thoughts and thought patterns and break old habits, their life changes automatically and their energy follows. Energy work is like a little push towards the good direction, But if you don't change the thought patterns, it kind of like doesn't go all the way back to the bad old habits, but it's not as effective. So sometimes I like to first address the mind and all that other stuff and attitudes and worldviews, and just give them a complete reset and fresh start, and then maybe do some energy work to help with the energies. It's different. Some people need some energy work, some don't, some just want a little coaching. Other people are just interested in spiritual growth and like it as activity, And so there's a lot of things we can do then. But if somebody just wants the basic package, yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, you have to change the beliefs, I guess, because the beliefs
It's
are
really
kind of
important.
in the
Thoughts
at
are
the
really
base.
powerful. Beliefs create your reality and basically shape the world or the way you see the world. And of course, emotional trauma. If you don't deal with emotional trauma, there's not enough space and clarity to actually see all the beauty in the world and experience the beauty in the world. So then you can have money or anything else, but you don't actually have connection or happiness or authenticity. This is when they say people can only meet themselves or others, let's say others, as deep as they have met themselves. And that's so nice about deep people like you and Maria. You guys dive deep and you do the emotional work so that you can meet those people deep and share all kind of stuff. And that's really cool. Like, yeah, that's my kind of crowd.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how when we spend a week together in Ibiza, and I felt like just being around you really opened up my perspective a lot to new beliefs and new ways of seeing the world, and you have this kind of carefree energy about you and it's just simple. You can just do this. If you want to do this, just go and do this. It's all possible. You're free, and you carry this within you, and yeah, it's really beautiful. I really love it. And
Thank
you
you so much.
inspire me and a lot of people with this, I think.
Thank you. I'm so happy that I got myself out of Germany, because Germany is not really receptive for that and open for that, for me at least. I'm much more in a fertile, open environment where I can radiate even more. I'm like, can you get some more of that?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Do you have any topics you want to cover? Any specific questions regarding Germany, regarding your life, regarding community, regarding ecstatic dances?
Yeah, I will. I mean, there are so many things to know. I would like to know, maybe this. How was it for you that you decided to go travel? Is it what it just the inspiration came and you felt like you were going to do it, or is there something specific that you had to work through first to get to this place?
I was already on this place, let's say at least mentally, in 2007. And I wanted to try the German student life and see all that regular stuff, because I had quite a beautiful life in Africa, with our own business and everything, cook, drivers, employees, travel agency, camping site, we built all this business from scratch, and I was in a beautiful position in my life. I had all the luxuries you can imagine, and I really wanted to try to start from scratch again in a student life. So I went by myself again to Germany, where it was like nobody and stuff. And it was really interesting to have this complete different perspective. And I was starting from the very bottom, and I didn't want to get jobs, and I started very poor, like below all kind of social structures. I was driving my unicycle. I had 2 pants and 2 shirts, almost like a crazy monk. I did a lot of extreme things like this in my life. For example, I lived 1 year barefoot, and I was just wearing a monk outfit. And
where did you do
yeah,
that?
I did 6 months in Africa, 6 months in Germany.
Oh, wow.
And so basically, I experimented with a lot of things in my life. And I always had this inner calling and this inner drive to try new things. And so basically in 2007, this started that I wanted to travel the world, but try the student life first. And after I felt like I tried the student life and all the jobs and different positions I could get and city life, I felt like I want to create a new world. I want to be surrounded by people that make my heart flutter and make my soul vibrate, you know, like this warm, beautiful feeling that I have the same dreams and the same visions about life. And this didn't really happen in Germany so much because a lot of collective shadows. So they were always nice people, but the collective shadow was so strong, and the collective shadow and their internal shadows sometimes would even fight back. And so also my life was geared towards traveling because I felt like Germany was for me like spending time with people that didn't really want to grow, you know, that still wanted their comfort, and they're really happy in the payroll system in Germany, and that system that you have to get your bachelor's and master's and things to achieve something, and everything is so stuck to rules and so locked down. And my soul is completely the opposite, and actually the universe as well. So to make these things happen in Germany is just so much harder. And so I just felt like going out there was the only thing that really felt right. And somehow I had a strong pull to America. Everything pulled me to America the whole time. So now I might temporarily end up in America a little bit, or just travel the world constantly, 2 or 3 months here, 2 or 3 months there, 6 months here. I don't know. Like, I'm dreaming about just building some little businesses that are very holistic and that help people, and that just drop off with my own projects enough money that I can do this my whole life and forever, and, you know, like create a better world, doing something I love.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, just sharing my truth. And I guess that's how it started. Like, I was fed up with my job in Germany. Melissa was fed up, my partner, my love, with her job in Germany. And she wanted to go somewhere where the sunshine was. And then we just started traveling. And while we started traveling, we met people, we tried new things. You know, we did the yoga teacher training. Our teacher was a freedive instructor. We tried freediving. Actually, I thought freediving, really holding your breath. Is this self-loving because we're on a self-love journey, you know? Is that soft? Is that sweet? Like, we both love the ocean, you know? And then actually, while the breath hold, we had a little device to measure our oxygen content, you know? And so I was holding my breath for as long as I could comfortably, and I was fighting a little bit. And I thought I would be like in big trouble. But actually this device on my finger showed me that I was like at 98% of oxygen or something, you know? So it's really a mental thing for the freediving and a training thing. You can hold your breath for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
It's just your body is used to breathe. And then I discovered this is actually self-loving for me. And this is maybe one of my favorite things in the world to do. Not only enjoying the ocean, but also being able to dive down there and to grow with all of that. And here we are in Thailand doing our freedive instructor training.
That's beautiful. What do
Diving almost every day.
what do you enjoy most about diving?
It was the salt water in the beginning. It was the ocean as a consciousness field. I did a lot of room cleansing and feng shui services in Berlin. So I would cast out bad spirits, or when somebody committed suicide in a building, sometimes people wouldn't sleep good in the room or stuff. I would just chase out those spirits. From the war, sometimes in Germany, there was a lot of stuff. And at one point, I used salt. I used sage, I used Palo Santo, I used energy work, I used communication. And at one point I was called to use pink Himalayan salt. And then it dawned on me, wait, I know that salt baths are relaxing and cleansing, but that I use salt in cleansing bad energies from rooms and potential spirits. The ocean must be not only like a liquid crystal, but a detox machine without comparison, you know? So I was like, that's why I was always feeling this super tingly energy flow when I was laying on the beach, you know, after spending a day or two at the beach. And I was like, why don't I structure my life around that? You know, I love big crystals. And in the future, I want to do some landscaping with big crystals. And I also do like crystal communication with people. And sometimes when people have a big crystal and I do feng shui, I activate them if it's the right thing to do. And it's just, yeah. So the ocean, that's one big thing. Seeing the life under the ocean, discovering new things, you know, like being able to see all the beautiful fishes, corals, all that. And the fun, the feeling it kind of gives me. Like the other day, we did another course and we had to do a certain amount of breath hold that was really long, for like Melissa and me. Finding the right mental space. This is where freediving becomes very spiritual. Like, it really helps you with training with your focus. And if you have oneness consciousness and you're really open to other people's feelings, it can help you to stay more in your own energy in a really nice way when you really want it. So it's almost like building that muscle. Not that it's to always have that. What?
Training your focus.
Yeah. Like, because freediving has different disciplines. There's not just going down, you know, there's also holding your breath while underwater or swimming just under the shallow water. And they're so different that I discovered different ways for me to make them work. If I don't apply this formula, this does not work. This kind of thought pattern, this kind of stuff, how I talk to myself during the exercise. One little change makes it 100 times more difficult and almost impossible. And if I do A, B, C, D, and I hold those thoughts, I do this, and it's like a self-discovery about my own body, the own limitations, and especially transcending that, I don't want to call it negative voice, but the body has a basic survival mechanism and also spiritually the ego, you know. And you and me and a lot of people that do a lot of emotional work are very gentle and they integrate a lot. But for certain things in life, sometimes, especially like in emergency situation, it's good to just have a space and to put, like a doctor does that. They segregate. So they can actually help you and then they can be shocked about the blood. You know, some people suppress it and never deal with it. That's not good. I would say always integrate it, but be able to create space and segregate it. I was always able to do that, but with freediving now I learned different levels of it. And it's not like becoming a machine, it's just like becoming more aware of your body and how your body actually tries to trick you into, I don't want to say laziness or things that are actually not helpful for you, that you can actually use for your own advantage to have more beauty and joy and love in your life. The day after that attempt of holding the breath, we're so happy. It's just, and it also produces a lot of happiness hormones and things in your body, you know. It's not just like a spiritual mental thing, but yeah, it's spiritual, mental, and physical training.
And you're overcoming also thoughts like, I can do this, and
oh, you're pumped up with I can do this. And imagine the urge to breathe, the desire, the need to take in oxygen is one of the strongest things a human has. So if you master that, the other stuff that was more difficult for you to master or anybody else to master becomes so much easier. So then as a life coach or as a spiritual medium with your clients, and as a freedive teacher, you can take them freediving and you can tell them, look, I have something on some island. You're going to be in paradise. We're going to train your body, but you're also getting a mental and spiritual training. And afterwards we can talk to animals, you know, like it's a whole package. It's like the holistic aspects of freediving. Many people just have these aspects and they're maybe not as aware of them or as able as I might maybe be to articulate them. And I will take full advantage of this and really host this in a holistic way.
Yeah.
Because the way I experience things sometimes is easier to share emotionally with people than when somebody just does a breath hold and is really happy about it. But that's already good, you know, like when you do something and you're happy about it, people will see you happy. And they'll think about what you do and they might ask you, hey, why are you so happy? And then you tell them, well, I freedive. And then they want to try freediving and maybe they also do that. You know, so it's like it catches on.
Yeah.
It spreads the happiness. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really beautiful, your perspective on it and how much you take out of it.
Thank you. You know, when we learned freediving, our instructors on the picture were the ones with the biggest smile. And usually when you go somewhere where people work for money, they have the smallest smile and the clients have the biggest smile. But in freediving, it's the other way around. The teachers that do the most diving actually have the biggest smile. So I thought there's something beautiful and spiritual about this profession. Maybe I should give it a try.
Hmm. That's
Although my
really
guides
cool.
were like, free diving, you're supposed to work with energies and vibes. This is me, the physical human that goes like, I want to try that.
Ah, interesting. So
Yeah.
sometimes your guides are telling you things and you feel like, no.
Well, they told me to go, and I said, I want to stay on Earth. You know what
Oh.
I mean? So it would have been much nicer and easier to just go, but
Hmm.
yeah, Earth is really special. I like it here, although it can be a big challenge for my state of consciousness to stay here
Hmm.
and keep my sanity, so to speak. With
Yeah.
everything I feel and perceive, it can be quite a lot sometimes.
You've been talking about this wanting to make diving accessible for people and also about other projects like writing a book. And I'm curious about your visions for the future or yeah, what you're gonna do next.
We're going to finish this like freediving instructor, and we spoke to a friend today, and we might host a workshop in Bali that is going to be breath work. We love breath workshops, and she does really amazing breath workshops, and we're going to combine our gifts of ecstatic dance. We are both ecstatic dance facilitators. Um, and we're going to host a beautiful retreat that is maybe also involving some chi and channeling some plant spirits through people and make the spirits move their bodies and all that kind of beautiful energy work I like to do. Depending on
Mm.
how interested and open people are, we are maybe going to host it at a cacao farm. It depends on locations. It comes up. It's on the creation process. We like to create with feelings and vibes. So we kind of jam all our dreams together in a bucket and mix it together. And if everybody's really happy and tingly, we kind of take it and we make a website and we put a price and we make the logistics, and then everything kind of just happens.
Hmm.
So this is kind of the simplified version of how we do things right now, a little bit
Mm. It's
like tuning into.
and it's also like things and the people just come together if you're in the flow, right?
Yeah, this is the next step because you asked for the vision that is a little bit bigger. I don't really have a vision other than a wish or a desire. This is how I like to manifest. I like to be more close to like-minded people that love similar things than me. People that don't drink alcohol, that love working with their emotions, and that love holding space and creating space for other people, that understand the value of actually having and creating space. This is a really big message um, for people in general, and I guess also for this podcast. Space is one of the most important things in life, but also be aware that the universe is all conscious. So as soon as you start to define something, the universe likes to come around with a surprise and show not exactly like this, it's like this, and it always changes. So we want to be careful with definitions, and it is like this. So we are very open and forward here,
Mm.
just to keep it nice. But me personally, in my experience, a person without space, I can almost not give them my love because they block my flow. A person with space, the whole universe flows through me and flows in them, and their whole universe flows into me, and it just creates this like smash of color and energy and expression of uniqueness and individuality. It's just amazing.
Mm.
Like we are all like little vortexes, and if somebody doesn't have space because of unintegrated childhood trauma or pain, that pain is jumping into your flow and just starting to create stuff while you think. Earth is a messy place, and it's really important that we all integrate those aspects because Earth is also a really beautiful place, and we can't see it when we have all those aspects actually clear, like blurring up the vision.
Mm.
So you see that when you're in love or when you have a really beautiful day, everything is just so amazing and beautiful and everything flows. And some people say just stay in the flow and you'll be there. Yeah, I do agree, but I also like to integrate and dive into the shadows because then you don't have to focus so hard on the alignment anymore, because it's just your natural state, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Are there specific methods or things that you like to use for integration?
Yeah. There's one process I like a lot, and it's the CP process.
The completion
PS1.
process?
Yeah, we actually applied for this training, and we'll be on one of the future trainings in warm climate. I like Teal and her way of teaching. She said we are a better match for warm climate teaching. Also to the group, I totally felt it. Like I felt us connecting to that group. I was like, whoa, this is going to be some intense training. And Teal's so nice. Instead of just accepting our money and putting on this training, she is so sensitive and nice and smart and honest that she is writing us, no, this time, like, you'll be a better match for tropical training. It will be then and then. And this really touched my heart and made me really happy. So instead of being like, we didn't get denied, but really like, this is real spiritual badass people. Shout out to Chio and all her team. I love these people. but seriously, so this is the completion process, or just emotional vipassana, just staying with the emotion. Like the vipassana meditation, basically, you just sit there with everything that is. Mm-hmm. And you're just with everything that is, fully present. And I like to take it a little further. This is my own personal thing. I like to make things somatic. So when I have a feeling or an emotion in my own body, mm-hmm. which can be something else than me. When somebody has a suppressed sadness, I can start feeling pain in my back sometimes that I could limp, not even walk anymore. So this rule that goes for most people are, if it's in your body, it's yours, doesn't apply to me. I'm like a vortex. But pushing all this aside, let's just assume I have something in my body, mm-hmm. right? And it's mine. And sometimes even if it's not mine, I can heal the collective or part of the collective through this. I go into the feeling and then invite it in my body to fully express itself. And this can lead to physical shivering. It can lead to kundalini, leg shaking and bursting or choking sensations or whatever it is. There's a lot of weird suppressed vibes out there in traumatized people and collective childhood traumas. And it's really interesting. Yeah. Like also, like, I sometimes perceive people's trauma and perspective in my own childhood perspective. And it's like really, really interesting. And for some people it can be quite confusing, but the somatic work. So it's
both at the same time?
It kind of is one flow. It goes into one. So from the CP session, I might actually go into first perspective. There's the safe haven and talking and integrating and the parts work and all of that. But usually I have zero modality and I have zero ABC structure I follow. The only things that I do is what arises in my inner vision and what my guides and my seeing shows me. And this is a very one-on-one, very live way to work. This is how I do energy work. If you see and you act accordingly. If you feel, you act accordingly, with your conscience, with your soul. So it's energy work from the soul, from your pure consciousness. There's no step or this or that. And if it feels right to embody it and really shake it through, then I do that. If it doesn't feel right, if I feel like I should take it out, I do energy work, I take it out. If I feel like I should block it, I block it. If I should talk to it or see what's really at the core, like I learn energy work, like a lot of different modalities and this and that. But ultimately you come to a point of consciousness where you are, and you just perceive and feel like when you hold space, for example, at a lake, you're just sinking into that emotion and fully being with it. That can be sometimes all it needs. Mm-hmm. So I would say the CP process is one of my favorites. And then energy work, channeling tree spirits, breath work, like holotropic breath work and ecstatic dances, getting out of the mind, going into the body. Those are really my favorites. Yoga, really spiritual yoga, or just earthing, barefoot walks. healing and meditating with trees. I wrote a blog on this, healing with trees and tree spirits. There's so much you can do, it's all consciousness. Even if you say diving in ocean, this is what I also learned in my dive teacher training. My spirits really told me this. My spirits were like, haha, or other spirits talking to me. You think you're safe in salt water because it's detoxifying. Guess what? You're screwed. It's all consciousness. You're never safe until you save everybody and you integrate everything. This was this weird spirit that was stuck to a person, and I showed him his boundaries, I was like, fuck off. I was nice to you till this point, and now I'm going to recycle you. But it was a beautiful, valid message. You know what I mean?
You heard that spirit just when? Recently or now?
Yeah, that was recently.
Okay.
That was like a week ago or two, I don't know. And so usually they talk to me in thoughts, Sometimes they show themselves. I actually saw my first spirit really materializing as in movies, which never happened. It stood next to my bed. I was really shocked. Usually they're little light specks, or they touch you and they talk to you in thoughts, like very discreetly. It's not like a voice shouting or stuff, or like in those weird horror movies. It's different for everybody though. And fishes, when I look at them, I usually hear their thoughts, hear how they feel, if they're nice or aggressive or what they want. And sometimes, it depends if I do animal communication, like from heart to heart, or if I just do psychic, normal communication. The psychic one touches more the layers upon the ego and a little bit of the heart. Whereas when it's maybe very open, heart open fish, they can drop deeper. Whereas the animal communication, I really learn from heart to heart, kind of bypasses almost those areas and gives you more like oneness feeling. But yeah, all these different layers and stuff. And you as a conscious person, you can relate. You have seen and experimented with a lot of these things, in gatherings and other things. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Love and presence is the ultimate, and communication. It all comes down to that, giving space, comforting, making everybody and everything happy, as in the CP, it's basically throwing a party for your inner children, that everybody gets happy, you make everybody's dream come true. And that really worked in CP, and that's one of the beautiful things about CP. And all the other stuff is really spiritual, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Did this answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same, going with my intuition, and in the end it's maybe not so much about the tools, but about feeling more and more your inner power and your intuition, because we have all these healing qualities and all the answers inside already.
Oh yes, totally.
Yeah. I am curious about one more thing. How it is for you traveling with your partner Melissa, and also community. If you have any thoughts about that.
In what sense?
Or just tell me about traveling with Melissa, and maybe it's also challenging sometimes to get on the same page.
It is a beautiful journey. It is growing. Melissa and me, we are quite special. When we started dating and all that, some really weird vibrations tried to keep us apart from each other, like shadows, Sometimes when you host a workshop, in the last moment, people's shadows come up that don't want to be integrated, and a lot of stuff goes out of alignment, especially if you organize workshops. You might be familiar with that. And that happened to us on our first date. That was really interesting, but they didn't manage. And there were a few things in the beginning, and my heart just stay, and I follow my heart and I trust my heart, and I can truly tell you I don't regret it at all. And so all these differences that might come up from healing and inner aspects and different perspectives, because we're a little different. She has that beautiful inner longing and same vision or similar visions and dreaming, you know, like for example, when she was studying in university, instead of doing her homework, she researched about raw food, you know. So that's actually her true passion, you know. So we are a good match on that one. It's just sometimes like when we travel together, I did so much like years of workshops and healing and things, you know, that a lot of stuff comes up for her, and I just hold space and I help her with that, you know. It's just interesting sometimes when you see like a lot of stuff bubbling up, or even me being in Kotao, I had to heal a lot of the collective. That was just like, it's a really like teenage party place. A lot of 20, 25-year-old people come here to like disco, party, you know, basically drink, party, mate with other people, you know, grab some boys, grab some girls, party, run around the island, dive, scuba, and go home. It's a different consciousness level than maybe a monastery or energy worker island or a hippie community that doesn't use any kind of drugs. And but it's also an ocean, it's also a beautiful nature, and food in Thailand is almost organic. So I guess traveling with Melissa is fun. It's really beautiful. It has some challenges here and there, but there's nothing that cannot be resolved in communication. Of course, sometimes like my ego parts are like, oh, really? Why here, there, why that? But this disappears quickly, and then there's the spiritual side that goes like, you knew this, you saw this coming. You know, it's okay. Let's hold space for it. Let's let it express itself and grow. And I think it's really beautiful to see like Melissa grow and become more who she is, and to actually step more into all that she is and express that. Like this is basically what the spiritual journey is about, to discover more who you actually are and who you have been as a kid, and show those parts and be able to speak your own truth regarding of the truth of others, and be able to go deeper within and blend in energy. And this is so beautiful for a relationship. Like this was my dream and goal with Melissa as well, and I told her this since the beginning. I want to create this ultimate relationship, this ultimate connection, this ultimate thing, and we have that, you know, like, and we want to make it even more cosmic, even deeper, even more integrated, even more healed, where we both grow. Like I grow more and she grows more in all kind of ways, you know, not only like financially and intellectually and professionally with things we love, like free dive instructor, but spiritually, and we became yoga teachers, ecstatic dance facilitators, what have you, you know, and share more of our true callings with the world. So I guess all this like includes traveling and living with Melissa, because honestly, as a conscious person, you might know this already. When you enter a relationship with somebody, you enter a sacred union and you share half of your heart, literally physically, and half of your soul and your consciousness. So if this person has sown so much like karmic things, or and everything they put in your body, you're going to feel it. And so, for example, this is, many spiritual teachers have that, you know, like you just blend. And this is a beauty, but this can also be challenged because you literally give away half of your physical heart.
What?
And
Blind?
you give away half of your physical heart.
You're just
and
blind?
No, you blend, like blending, mixing together.
Yeah.
Not like blind. And this is how you create like a really beautiful relationship, when you can really hold your own energy and they can hold their own energy, but you're not afraid to completely mix up and lose yourself and blend and create something completely new, almost like a new entity. You know, like people are not aware of this. Each gathering has its own spirit. Each country has its own consciousness. Each person has its own consciousnesses of like inner organs and inner thoughts in it. And so if you put people together, you know, this creates something completely new. And I would say traveling with Melissa is always the most delicious when we're both like integrated. When we have time to really like sit with our inner children, and everybody is really happy. It's just the biggest, it's like being the ocean and meeting another ocean. When we are more stressed and more in other normal things, some inner aspects can come up and create some stress. And I'm like, man, really? But, it's just part of life.
Mm-hmm.
And we have all the tools. We know how to work through that. And it's also welcome, Like, I guess the hardest for me in relationships in general is when people don't want to go there or don't want to be vulnerable and integrate.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, Melissa is not so stubborn about this. Like when people are like, I'm fine, I don't want to do this, I don't want to risk this.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the only part that could be like a challenge. And of course, challenge of traveling. Sometimes you can get really sick of bad food, which just happened recently to us. But it was also a spiritual cleansing, and it was also related to other spiritual factors that I don't want to elaborate so much here. But for the greater picture, it was better for everybody.
That's really beautiful that you can grow together and integrate together, and that you have the same visions to
Yeah, it's
move
the only
forward
way.
with.
I couldn't spend my life or even a few years of my life with somebody because, okay, I'm psychic. I see people, I see their shadows, I see their potential, I see what they really think and want. I feel their thoughts, I see their thoughts. So this is a hard game dating me as well, but it can also be really beautiful. So, that's the only way. Otherwise, better stay single or just meet people randomly for some fun left and right till you find the right person, or depending on what you want and who you are. Because if a person doesn't want to be a vortex again, you're a vortex, the energy flows, and if that person just stays stuck, it's going to create diseases or discomfort or fights or unhappiness, and it's just like driving on with the brakes on. I don't say like just leave people like this and don't spend time integrating. And you might find some stuff you or I have to heal on that. Sometimes life is really like a big mystery, especially how vibration dictates the way you see the world. Like more of that is in my book, but depending on which energetic spaces, you can perceive different realities, and they're all kind of true and parallel to each other at the same time. And how to work with this and manifesting and creating realities, especially in relationships. Like love and relationships is one of my favorite subjects that I want to share here with people on earth. Like not only ecstatically dancing, but also like expressing your soul and music, channeling music through your body. I discovered that I have a gift with that. And they're like inner animals, like spirit animals, or certain ways of being. There's so much in dance that can be taught non-verbally. That's just, yeah. But not everybody is open and interested for that. Like here on this island, a lot of people just like drink alcohol and think they got it all figured out. It's okay, it's fine. It's just like, I can't wait to be around a little bit more open people, or to help people here to try something a little different, a little bit further out of the box, Yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving the visions that you have and how you share the way you see the world. It's really beautiful. Do you already have a plan for your book coming out?
Well, my book is basically going to be a guide for sensitive people and empaths, people that feel other people in their body, that see things, that feel things, or just people that completely feel lost in society or in hippie communities where everything is just happy, happy, happy. It's basically a very, well, I hope it to be a very fun and entertaining way. I like it. It looks funny to me. It's nothing serious, and it's going to be very short. So far it has 13 chapters and some bonus material, but those are very short chapters. It's written very, almost like the way I talk, very easy, very non-serious. It has a lot of cues and personal stories to make it also entertaining about my life, how I learned certain things in my life, how they came to me, what I did with them, how it helped me, how it might help other people. And it's going to be available as a little paperback and hopefully and for sure online, you know. So the online is the easiest thing. Maybe I find a good publisher, publish it. I think to maybe speak it in an audiobook. And there might be more books coming up on different topic. I really like to keep it short and simple and entertaining, and as useful and as true to my soul and my heart as I can, to really like share that spark and that idea with people that came to me, and
Yeah,
to
I'm excited.
cut all the clutter.
I'm excited to read it.
Thank you. It won't take long. That's a beautiful thing, because I think life is so beautiful, you know. I don't need to use so many words to communicate what I really want to communicate, and then people can apply it in their lives. Yeah, that's beautiful. Do you have any more questions, or do you want to share how you see the world? Because I'm actually feeling like you have a very beautiful, unique perspective, and maybe you want to share a little bit more of yourself and what you do and how you see the world and all your undercover better spiritual work you do.
All my what?
Your undercover better spiritual work you do.
Yeah. Well, I relate. I related to what you said about about somatically experiencing things. I had that recently a lot. That so much is moving through my body, and I'm shaking so much energy out, and it's like I'm receiving these huge downloads, and really tuning into a new frequency of joy, and not just joy, but the kind of frequency that maybe vibrates at a frequency of joy and gratitude, and these feelings are now kind of really seems like becoming a part of my life in a way that they haven't been before. And yeah, I kind of have more power, like more energy to it, which is also why I'm doing this now. And I have a big topic with putting myself out there, and like I want to share more of me, but yeah, and recently I've been receiving more clarity about how I can do this. And so this creative expression is really meaningful for me, and really big part of what spirituality means to me. It's just expressing myself and putting myself out there with theater or with writing and all these kinds of things. It is what I love doing. And I'm exploring more of energy work and what all of this means. I'm just really curious to learn more. Recently, I'm so curious, which is also why I'm doing this. Like, how does energy work? How does manifesting with beliefs work? And how does the universe work? And how does awakening work? Yeah, that's just what I'm exploring.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Yeah, especially like your energy when you talk about this, like it's lighting up the room and everything is just like sparkling. And do you want to give people contact you or find your work or your projects to the audience? Like you for sure put some stuff in the description on the YouTube video on Facebook, but do you want something where they can go to, where they can, you made this new podcast to like talk about it and exchange ways how to work with it and exchange new ideas, and also in talking sometimes new ideas arise. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, well, the podcast is called Marie Leben. I think we're going to put this one not only as a podcast with audio, but more as a video.
You can do both if you want, or just leave it with the video. You know, some people just like to listen because it doesn't use much data, but it's just an idea.
Yeah, and I'm still building my website and everything, but I will let you know the name of, or we can
Sure, no,
share
that's
the
great.
YouTube channel.
And the podcast is on Spotify?
Oh
or
yeah,
where
it's available on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Anchor. I'm hosting it on Anchor, but it's also available on Spotify. Apple Podcasts and all the other
Great,
bigger
no, that's
podcast
beautiful.
things.
So you can reach a greater audience with that. That's amazing. Yeah, wow, beautiful. And soon we might even have intro music and all that stuff. You know, you have all the bling bling.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah, it's really fun to play with that.
Am I your first guest on the podcast?
You are my first guest. You are my
Oh my God, I feel
first
so honored.
interview. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you, amazing. Well, you're welcome. No, I love doing podcasts. Yeah, I feel it's a great way to exchange energies and perspectives, and in the conversation, new things arise. Like I spend a big part of my life living on a campsite and talk to all kind of backgrounds in life, from physics scientists at some Swiss research center, like particle scientists, to like people that build trucks and camping cars and all kind of different walks of life, and having really interesting conversations with people. And that's something I also love doing, you know, like really seeing how people see the world and how different perspectives look intellectually, emotionally. Okay, now psychically it's a whole different world out there since I came out of the spiritual closet officially. But it's also on all the other levels really, really interesting. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can learn like from everyone, I feel.
Good. Do you want to share anything about your secret projects in Germany, or not now, more in future podcasts, like the stuff you used to do or you may be still doing?
Mm, yeah, I will share more in the future
In the future.
podcast.
Okay, that's great. Just for your listeners, she's not as innocent in terms of energy work as she seems in spiritual history. She just plays interview girl for this one. Big shout out to you, Millie. Yeah, well, my link, you will find it in the description, and my website is very easy. It's 3 times one dot my name, Kasimir Kurt, and one.com. Or you type in Kasimir Kurt in Google and you find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And the easiest way to get into contact with me is to either write Marie a message or just shoot me a message. Everything on Facebook is public. And yeah, just shoot me a message.
Can you book sessions via your website?
Yes, basically you write me on Facebook or you just write me on my website. There's not a buy now button yet. This might change with time. I just thought it was much more personal because my prices are also personal according to the work. So somehow my intuition like channeled the financial situation of a person else, like this is that much for that person. I do have normal rates and everything. And they apply most of the time, but as I work very intuitively, that just like all clicks in place. So I think it's much more flexible and easy, although it's unconventional. Some people tell me just make it easy. They just push a button. There's a donate button. You can always use the donate button to send a donation for the project if you want, to support the whole movement. If you want to work with me, just shoot me a message and we figure out a time and date that works. Yeah.
Yeah, and let us know about diving events in Thailand.
Oh, Bali and Thailand, and we may be thinking about the Philippines, basically all the paradise spots. I'm thinking Tahiti, Maldives, all these places that people always see on their Facebook advertisements, the most beautiful paradise places. This is where I want to work. This is where I want to host retreats. And this is what is going to happen most likely. Because look, as a dive teacher already, you can just apply and you get a job at those paradise places. But actually, I want to do this whole like animal communication, holistic diving, ecstatic dances, breath work, what have you, with the coolest people I know in groups, you know. And we met so many cool dive teachers also in this course, and they also do retreats and they travel. So we might even work with a few friends together. And yeah, I feel also diving is quite healing, to be honest. Like if it's really done with the right space holding and consciousness, it's joy boosting, health boosting, healing. Although this healing is an official thing that should be mentioned carefully, but yeah, I do believe in the power of love and power of consciousness. So
That feels so beautiful, these projects that you're talking about.
yeah. Is there anything you want to cover on this podcast, or you want to share? And if you guys have questions, feel free to ask Marie or me about something we have been covering. Sometimes, me at least, I zone off so much in my consciousness and stuff that it might not quite be clear or understandable. So, if you have
Yes.
questions, just
If,
comment, leave a comment.
yes, if you have some practical questions about understanding this in a more practical way or something.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated because usually I don't generalize information. I go client by client, case by case, because we're all different and unique, and that's how I offer the best solutions, or approaches or ideas or whatever. But also tell us if you like this podcast. Or you want us to change something. I mean, sorry, most likely we're not going to change anything because we're ourselves and we love ourselves and we love what we do.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, just go
Go.
away. No, I'm teasing. So all your input is welcome.
Yeah, feedback is welcome. I
Don't
wonder,
take life serious. Yes?
yes, is this your message for the listeners? Don't take life too serious? Or do you have a message for the listeners as we close
I
this
do have quite a few
journey?
things. I do offer like room cleansing, spirit cleansing, feng shui. I do communication with past over loved ones. Sometimes they're attached to people. So if there's some grief or stuff, sometimes they're around. They can get sessions with me for that. It's almost like I want to say kids don't do drugs. Talking about alcohol, all that other stuff. Get vulnerable, get real, and open up to all that collective trauma and just be real and be vulnerable and like it's time to heal and integrate, not to run away from emotions. It's time to live your dream. If you're not enjoying your everyday life, ask yourself why you're doing this, like this. I literally changed this on my channel today. Are you ready for your bliss? Like, are you? Do you want to? It's there. You just embrace it, open it up, like go get messy with your emotions, heal it, integrate it, enjoy the integration, see the beauty in all the emotions that are there. It's not something to get done. It's there. It's magic. Be magic. Be yourself. It goes over and over. Although it started very, very, very gently with that. Just don't numb yourself out. Don't do things that numb yourself out. Basically, especially Berlin. Such an intellectual rush party place, when people are always in euphoria and like achievement, intellect, usually all those other things, just usually don't get integrated. Sometimes that is strong enough to flush all the other energies out, or they had almost zero trauma. Well, everybody on earth has trauma, but so for very little people it works out very well. But for most people, really, just something. Do something you like, love your life, and if you don't already, then do some more. Do you have messages for the viewers?
My message for the viewers is to dare to go for what makes you happy. And even if you doubt yourself and you feel scared, think maybe you can find a way to take the fear with you and still go for what you want. And don't try to know everything before it happens. Sometimes you just have to go and see what happens. And the vision or whatever you're looking for will kind of unfold along the way.
Exactly.
And you can trust. Maybe just try trusting the universe. I think it will be worth it.
Oh yeah, no, totally. I agree. That's a beautiful message. Yeah. So you hear, you guys. Yeah. And maybe I have something else coming. It's like, don't be mean and harsh to each other. Like, literally all being tough and super strong and super like about status and stuff. That doesn't usually help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, try to softness and vulnerability and niceness. Not because it's something good to do or because you're told to, because actually the softer you are, the more things can touch you. And the more and deeper beautiful things can touch you actually. So think about that. How much more you can enjoy actually things in life and life.
Yeah.
And space that is just opening up right now. Some of the more sensitive viewers can feel. And also the world is a big place. If you're unhappy in Germany, get a job in Thailand. Get a job in Czech Republic. It's easy with the internet. You just type it in Google, you find it. You apply, you are taken. You don't need zero qualifications other than speak a language sometimes and be willing to take some office job. If it's really all you want to do and you're insecure about doing other things from your own creative projects and you just want to take a first step, even Instagram can get you there. I saw some cool advertisements the other day. So literally the world is geared to make it possible for anybody to go anywhere soon, especially if you live in the industrialized countries, it's so easy. So don't be like, I don't have qualifications, Germany sucks, I can't go nowhere. No, maybe you meet the right person and they take you around the world. Maybe you find a job you actually like. Or maybe you just find a job that is as good or bad as the one you already have, but you're in paradise. And you can take it from there and you can get some different training for something you actually like, So don't limit yourself to your beliefs. You can literally create, manifest anything you want. If you believe so. If you tell yourself it's not possible, well, then it's a little bit more complicated. Just a little.
But that can be mended too.
And don't be scared. Don't let fear hold you back. This is a big one for a lot of people sometimes, especially in regards to love. All their shadows and fears come up, And this is a beauty love has, actually. It flushes up all your fears. And that's why space holding and emotional presence is quite useful, especially if you explore love relationships or spiritual love, connectedness with oneness, That there are going to be ups and downs, and learn to love the ups and the downs.
Yeah.
So, anything else, or should we call this a podcast?
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, your energy. Thank you for sharing your insight and from your life. I really
My pleasure. You really?
I really enjoyed learning more from you and diving on these ways with you.
Thank you, Marie. Well, thank you for your time, energy, and space, and your openness, and for all that you are. It was a great pleasure, like the first time we met, to see all that magic you bring into the world and all the ways you dare to express yourself that is so unique to you, and really like showing your beauty and sharing your beauty with the world. I really like that. And you have so much joy and so much love to share with the world. Like it's crazy. So keep doing what you do. Keep being yourself, and it's just amazing. Yeah, keep being amazing. Keep being yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, and keep sharing it with the world. Don't get the cold weather or those like grumpy people. Don't listen to them. keep dreaming crazy, beautiful dreams, and they just will move through us and happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You
And
too.
say hi to your roommates. And we will meet in crazy circles somewhere around the world and make the world even a more crazy and beautiful place.
Yes.
Like right now, we are starting a Facebook group for ecstatic dance Burning Man. So maybe some people want to join that. I don't really know if it will 100% happen from the vibes, but for now it starts feeling good. So we might create something beautiful there. Let's see.
That's an interesting idea. Cool. Yeah, you too. Keep sharing your light, and thank you for your beautiful light.
Thank you. And let's get together with Maria and you, and maybe do some more advanced like energy workshops or something, where we really show people the depths of the craziness of empaths and their gifts and abilities.
Yeah, I love that.
And how good emotions are, and how they can actually switch from person to person,
Yeah.
Like almost like gentle possession, and how we can all be fine with all kind of emotions.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay. Much love.
Okay, yeah. See you soon. And
Ciao.
ciao. Greetings to Melissa.
Yes, I will. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.